From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson. It's National Signing Day, and the signees are rolling into Oklahoma State. Kyle Frederickson joins us on the phone. And Kyle, a guy that did sign a national letter of intent today that we were wondering about was Tramonda Moore, the John Marshall standout, who we have heard through a couple sources is headed towards junior college, but he did actually sign that national letter of intent with the Cowboys. If he makes the grades, Kyle, how big of a get is this for the Cowboys?
Oh, I mean, you couldn't really understate how big of a get it would be. You know, we're talking about the #1 player on the Oklahoman Super 30 list at offensive line in a position where the Cowboys need the most help. So, no doubt, you know, this is a premier top-level talent, a guy who could have gone to some real high-profile SEC schools if he had made that choice. But like you had mentioned, he's also a bit of a risk. We don't really know at this point whether or not he's going to have the grades to be on this OSU football team next year. And, you know, if we're looking ahead from a year from now, and if it turns out that he is going to junior college, you know, there's going to be a lot of OSU fans out there saying, you know, hey, why did we waste a scholarship on this guy? We could have gotten someone else to fill that spot. And, you know, it's a good argument, but at the same time, if OSU is able to make a strong enough connection, and even if Moore does go to junior college, you know, there's always that chance that he could come back to the Cowboys, like he first said. You know, there's a lot of things that could change between now and then in that type of decision. But, you know, either way, I think this is a huge get for the Cowboys. Of course, they'd love to have him on campus as soon as possible. But just looking down the road and the type of players OSU needs to get on its offensive line, to return to kind of those, you know, those Fiesta Bowl seasons and just back a few years ago when, you know, OSU quarterbacks hardly ever got hit. I mean, he's the type of player you can really build your offensive line around. And he's just a huge pickup for the Cowboys. At this point, it's just unknown, you know, when he's going to be suiting up for him. Yeah,
and, you know, Kyle, it's an interesting point when you talk about, you know, will he go to junior college or will he be on campus in Stillwater come the fall? And we don't know the answer to that question, but I wonder, you know, we'd heard some reports that other schools, the Alabamas, the OUs, some of these sort of powerhouse-type programs that were recruiting Tramonda Moore for a while did not send national letters of intent because of the grade question. Maybe if he is placed in a junior college by OSU, is there a chance that the fact OSU did stick with him, did send a national letter of intent, does that hold any sway? I know there's no way to know, but if he still comes to Stillwater, whether it's this year or in a couple years, I mean, that's a huge impact for the Cowboys.
Oh, it definitely is. And, you know, and think about it this way, you know, sure, maybe Moore goes to a junior college and it has impressive as ever and gets all these big-time offers again. You'd sure think he's going to remember that, you know, it was the Cowboys who were the ones who believed in him and offered that scholarship and that those other guys didn't. So, you know, if loyalty is going to play a factor in his decision, I mean, that's got to be a huge part of it. So, you know, a lot to be seen with this guy, but, you know, it's pretty clear how much the Cowboys value him, being that they're willing to kind of risk one of these scholarships. And granted, you know, I think OSU is in a position where maybe they had a little bit of wiggle room because maybe they don't have a full class committed as of this point, you know, just in the day leading up to signing day, with only about 18 or 19 guys verbally committed. So maybe that made them a little bit more confident that even if Moore doesn't sign, it's not going to be a backbreaker.
All right, we'll see how this one plays out in the months to come. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.